his mother and father took the life of their beautiful daughter. The mother was pregnant while they took the life of their beautiful daughter. This beautiful little girl did not deserve to have a life taken the way she had a life taken. They need to be in jail for the rest of their life and never get out. They need to ask why they in there. Because she didn't deserve to have a life taken like this whatsoever.
While police were knocking on doors asking, "Have you seen this child?" her own uncle had already been asking that same question for weeks. Text messages, pictures, getting ignored, then getting brushed off with talk about fishing trips and an old video of her playing at the park. He was asking the right question the whole time. Nobody wanted to hear it. Then came the press conference. A sheriff stood in front of cameras and said something that stopped an entire community cold.
I'm deeply saddened to tell you that our investigation and evidence leads us to believe that 4-year-old Javea Harris is deceased.
The night that 911 call came in about a missing 4-year-old, it was already too late. She had been gone a month before anybody ever called for help. So, what exactly were 200 people searching for? What was the drone in the sky looking for? What was the FBI looking for? Let's talk about it, because this isn't a missing child case. This is something else. And by the time you get to the end of this, you're going to understand why her own family is asking the same thing we are. Where was Javea really this whole time? Her name was Javea Harris, 4 years old, out of Aiken County, South Carolina, right next door to Augusta, Georgia. And before any of this turned into a headline, people who actually knew her described a kid who was, in the words of her own father,
because she did not deserve to lose her life like this.
Okay, I got up around 5-ish, and my daughter was outside playing, my girl was out there watching her, and she was in and out of the house, I said it, and I was going to get up and wash the clothes. What else can I say? I left the house around, 6, like late 6, maybe like early 7. It was probably around like 6, and I got back to the house and maybe around 7:15 because my girl and my daughter said they wanted some candy, like she wanted some service and she wanted cookies. And I had went to like three stores maybe in between those times to go get gas, Black Miles, and I got some drinks, like some little Mad Dogs and stuff like that. And when I left and I went back to dry clothes because I was washing them. I was sitting there for a little minute, and I ended up going to another store. Like these 3 stores that I'm saying, like I sold the 3 stores already, but I went to a store last.
I am going to be going live with my Patreon as well. I'm also going to be on the t-shirt for my Patreon. Y'all been paying for it. I'm going live with my Patreon. I'm going live with my Patreon.
You know, a lot of stuff goes on in Aiken to where like you could love as police or whatever. But I didn't know that it was my house. My girlfriend at the time, she didn't have service. She didn't have service on her phone. She couldn't call me to let me know anything that was going on. So she just ended up calling 911. So when I came back to the house, before I got on my road, I seen a police truck with a drone out, and that's when I started speaking because I was like, it's something going on like, close to my house. When I got on my road, I seen a whole bunch of police like right in my house, so that's when I hurried up and I got to the house, and I was like, what's going on? I thought my girlfriend was in labor because she was supposed to have a baby. You know what I'm saying? So she ended up having a child that same night on July 1st. But she came up crying to me saying my Javea missing. And I'm like, what the fuck? I kind of freaked out. And she told me I couldn't overlook and stuff like that because they didn't want me to mess up the area or whatever. But that's basically what happened up until all of this came about.
Okay. Is she known to run away? Like, has there been past issues with that with her? Is she known to do that?
No, she does not run away, but I will say that she is friendly. Like, she's friendly. Like, she doesn't, like, it's not a stranger danger thing with her. It's not like get away from me. Like, she didn't get that. She didn't understand it. She was just all friendly to everybody. She was very respectful. Like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Like, That's what she do. We raised her great. Like, she was a real smart kid. That's why, like, they had me kind of, like, messed up. Because they were saying that she was not, like, she's non-verbal and that. Like, yeah, she was, like, saying she's autistic and, like, that was, like, the media was fucking, like, messing, I don't want to cuss, but that was messing my head up a little bit because they don't even have a good description of my child. They're trying to describe her.
What's a good, is she autistic or is she on the spectrum at all? Is that true?
She was on the spectrum when she was born, but they said that she couldn't be tested until she was 4 years old.
Okay, so it's on, you guys just don't know.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Like, we never got her tested, and she's never given us signs that she is, autistic. She talks good. She's like very, like she talks better than me. But she got more respect than me.
Understood. So you guys had no idea what could have happened to her.
I have no clue. Sir, I don't like, it's really wild, but I had gave all these detectives this information about people snooping around the house lately, like since I started work. Like from Friday, Thursday really, but from Friday to Monday, I had to work. I was working night shifts, and every time I left, my girl would like, what she would tell me like, oh, it's been people doing this and then the third round now they've been called, like they be on the phone with people like around the house, like just talking and walking real slow and things like that, and like, I've been telling them that, but.
How are you doing through all of this?
I ain't
It's okay.
I ain't got a little bit of an outlet. It's like, not knowing is killing me. It's killing me, like, because, like, you see stuff like this often, but you don't expect it to be you.
And is the mother, is she your wife?
No, she's not my wife. She was my girlfriend.
Okay. How is she doing?
She's still a little tore up, but she's making it. She's trying to stay calm because we just, like I said, we just recently had a child. She had to go, like, really go in labor early because all the stress that was going down, she had that baby the same night that all of this happened.
Now, here's something you need to know, because it's going to come up later, and it's important you hear it now. During the search, media outlets floated that Javiaya might be nonverbal, possibly autistic, using that to explain away how a child could go missing without anyone noticing sooner. Her father shut that down directly. He said she'd never been diagnosed with anything, never showed signs of it, and the only reason there was no official answer either way is because doctors told them she couldn't be tested until she turned 4. She had just hit that age. So no, this wasn't a child who slipped away because she couldn't communicate. By every account from the people who knew her, she was sharp, verbal, and social to a fault, friendly with everybody. No sense of stranger danger, according to her father. Which, hold that thought, because that detail is going to matter. The household. Javiaya's mother, Michele Herring, 22 years old. Her father, Joe Maria Harris, 23, not married, girlfriend and boyfriend, living together. And here's the timeline you need to lock in, because everything after this only makes sense once you understand where they were standing. Michele was pregnant. Due date, July 15th. A new baby about to arrive. Into a household that, according to what investigators would later determine, no longer had Javiaya in it. Hadn't had her in it for a while. Let that marinate for a second. A new baby on the way. And the daughter who was supposed to already be there? Gone. Not reported. Not searched for. Just gone. And nobody outside that house knew it. Now this is where the uncle comes in. And I need you to really sit with this part, because it's the clearest window anybody's gotten into what these two are doing while a 4-year-old wasn't in the picture. Javiaya's uncle, the man everybody's now calling Junebug, started reaching out to Michele directly. Early May? May 3rd? May 4th? According to the messages that later surfaced, he's texting her and she's responding. But watch what she's responding about. The new baby, the father, herself? That's it. Round after round of messages, and not once is Javaiah mentioned. Not by her. He's the one who has to bring her up. And when he does, when he flat out asks where his niece is, why she's not in any of it, she ignores him. Straight up ignores the question.
That's a damn
He doesn't
shame.
let it go, though. He sends her a picture, something to do with groundwork he'd been doing, and asks her to have his brother send him some pictures back. That's when she finally responds. And what does she send him? Not a current picture of Javaiah. Not, she's right here, say hi. She sends him an old video, Javaiah playing pirates at a park, and she tells him one day they can all go fishing. Double dates, fishing, pirates, water. Over and over in these messages, that same theme keeps surfacing. Now hold on, I'm not saying anything
Sent
outright.
him a whole picture.
I'm just telling you
whole
what the
picture.
messages say. But when you line it up against what investigators would later say about a place of interest involving water,
And
draw
she
your
sent
own
that uncle
conclusion.
A whole picture. That's
because
crazy.
that's what this is for. You get to decide what that
So they
means.
just gonna take care of the new baby.
Here's what we
evidently.
do know for a
That's
fact.
crazy.
Based on the
Just gotta
timing
take
of these
care both the kids,
messages
you just
and the
gonna take care
timing
the
of the
baby.
pregnancy,
That don't even make no
investigators
sense.
and Javaiah's own family believe Javaiah had to already be gone before May, before the due date pressure hit, before the questions from family got harder to dodge, which means somebody in that house needed a story ready to go before that baby came home from the hospital. Because you can't have a newborn walking into a house and family coming around to see the baby, and no explanation for where the 4-year-old went. So, what happens? Late June, a story, a 911 call. Javaiah playing in the front yard near a chicken coop, and then wandered off. That's the account Michelet gave. That's what kicked off one of the largest search efforts this community has ever seen. FBI, state police, over 200 personnel on the ground, roadblocks checking every single car coming in or out of that neighborhood for 4 straight days. And through all of that, the drones, the search dogs, the volunteers walking fields in the South Carolina heat, Javaiah's own mother sat there, knowing this whole search was for nothing, because she already knew where her daughter was.
Correct.
She'd known for a month. That's wild. And we're just getting started. Tuesday, June 30th. That's the date everybody official is going to point to. That's the day the world found out Javaiah Harris was missing. Not the day she actually went missing. The day somebody decided to tell the world she was. Here's the story as it was told. Javaiah was outside, in the front yard, playing near a chicken coop. Michelet was watching her, in and out of the house. And then, somewhere in there, Javaiah wandered off. That's it. That's the whole account. A toddler who got a little too curious, a parent who looked away for a minute too long, and now there's a search underway. Around 8:15, 8:45 that evening, the first reports go out. By 12:30 in the morning, phones across the region are going off with emergency alerts. A 4-year-old missing out of Aiken County, South Carolina. And this is where it stops looking like a normal missing child case and starts looking like something bigger. Because it's not just local police responding, SLED gets involved. Then, not long after, the FBI. Out of Columbia. And when the FBI shows up for a missing 4-year-old, that tells you everybody already sensed this wasn't as simple as a kid wandering off. Now let's go back to the father for a second, because his account matters here too. Joe Maria told a reporter he'd gotten up early that morning,
Lying
around
like he-
5, to go do
Lying.
laundry. Left the house sometime around 6 or 7. Ran to a few stores, gas, snacks, something to drink. Came back around 7:15 because his girlfriend and daughter wanted candy and cookies. Went back to washing clothes. Sat there a minute. Went to one more store, and it's while he's out, at a Circle K, right by the laundry, that he starts noticing police everywhere. He didn't think much of it at first, Then he saw a police truck with a drone out near his road, and he said that's when he started speeding up, because something was clearly happening close to his house. By the time he turned onto his street, it was full of police. He said he thought his girlfriend had gone into labor. She was due any day. Instead, she came out crying, telling him Javiya was missing. That's his version. Word for word, in his own words to a reporter 3 days into the search. I have no clue. It's really wild. He talked about people snooping around the house in the weeks before, said he'd told detectives about it. He talked about how it was killing him, not knowing. Except, and this is the part that's going to matter in a minute, investigators would later determine Javiya had already been dead for a month by the time any of this happened.
That's a damn shame.
So whatever not
month.
knowing means in that interview, you decide what that sounds like now, knowing what we know. The reporter who did that interview noticed something too, after the fact. Looking back at the conversation, he pointed out that Jomareya kept slipping into past tense when he talked about his daughter. Talking about who she was, how she talked, how she carried herself, like he was already describing somebody who was gone. At the time, nobody caught it. In hindsight, it's hard to unhear. And here's a detail that still sits heavy. That same night, the night the 911 call went out, the night the search began, Michele went into labor. She gave birth to a new baby on July 1st, while the entire county was outside looking for the daughter she already knew wasn't coming home. That baby is now with other family members? Say it again for the people in the back. While search crews were combing fields and knocking on doors for a missing girl, her mother was in a hospital bed delivering a new baby into a story that had already been decided a month earlier. For 4 days, this search was massive. We're talking over 200 personnel. Local police, state police, federal agents, volunteer fire departments, search dogs, drones in the air. Roadblocks went up around the neighborhood. Every car going in, every car going out, got checked. No exceptions. Neighbors were interviewed one by one. The community turned out too. Churches, volunteers, people walking fields in South Carolina heat for days at a time, all working off the same story.
Yeah, and my prayers go to the family, and our church, Bethel Baptist, I go to, they're helping out too. But I would like to say to the parents, I'm praying for y'all. I know that this is hurting you, breaking your heart, and that everybody in the neighborhood is thinking about you and praying for you.
A little girl wandered away from her front yard, and she needs to be found. But here's the thing about a lie like that. It can only hold up as long as the search stays in the place the lie points to. And by the end of that week, investigators had covered the ground. They had checked the neighborhood. They had checked the area she was supposedly last seen, and Javiya wasn't there, because she was never there to begin with. That's the moment this stopped being a missing persons case and turned into a homicide investigation. Behind the scenes, while the public search kept going, detectives were already working a different angle entirely, one that had nothing to do with a chicken coop or a front yard. And that new angle led them somewhere nobody expected. Great Falls, South Carolina. Chester County, about 2 hours away from Aiken, up past Columbia. Not the neighborhood, not even the county, a completely different part of the state. Reporters on the ground noticed a SLED helicopter take off from Columbia and circle an area near a pond and a shoreline in Great Falls for about 20 minutes. DNR was out there. A mobile command center showed up from the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. The area got shut down to the public entirely. Nobody was told outright what was happening, but you don't send a helicopter, DNR, and a locked-down command post to search a random pond for no reason. And here's the part that's going to sting for anybody who's ever lost somebody and had to wait on official word. Javiya's own extended family showed up to that scene in Great Falls, and some of them found out what was happening not from a phone call, not from a detective sitting them down, but from Facebook, from posts. from the same public updates everybody else was getting. Now hold on. Think about that for a second. Somebody's family, standing at the edge of a search site for a child they love, piecing together the truth from social media, the same way strangers online were. That's not just heartbreaking. That's a failure in how this family was treated, on top of everything else they were already carrying. Then came Saturday morning. Sheriff Marty Sawyer stood in front of the cameras, and in 36 years of law enforcement, he said,
Morning. I'm Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer. And we're gathered here, and I'm gathered here with all these law enforcement partners to make the hardest announcement that I've ever had to make in my 36 years career in law enforcement. I'm deeply saddened to tell you that our investigation and evidence leads us to believe that 4-year-old Javea Harris is deceased. It's the outcome that we all feared, and sadly, it's the outcome that we must face. We'll have to face it together as a community. Our search for Javea drives on. We're continuing to put massive law enforcement resources to work to recover Javea and bring her home. We all hoped and prayed to find her alive. But it's extremely important to bring her home to her family, and it's important to bring her home for us. We're currently searching an area of interest right now, not in Aiken County, and I am not disclosing where that's at. But I'm sure you understand, if in fact Javea's body is where we think it is, it's going to be a difficult time for everybody there. And we don't need anybody from the outside of law enforcement, trying to access that area. Today I'm announcing that we have arrested Javea's parents. We've arrested her dad, 23-year-old Jamaria Harris, and her mom, 22-year-old Michela Herring, for homicide by child abuse and filing a false police report. Additional charges may be forthcoming. We'll figure that out as the investigation goes further. We have spoken to Javea's extended family, and we'd ask that you respect their privacy. We can only imagine what they're going through. We put every resource available to find Javea and to bring her home safely. I want you to pay close attention to these next two sentences. This is very important. Sadly, the night of the 911 call on June 30th, when that call was made, it was already too late to save Javea. At this time, our investigation supports that she had been deceased for at least a month. I want to express my sincere gratitude to every law enforcement agency, local, state, and federal, and all of our volunteer fire departments in Aiken County, who stood alongside us this whole journey for the past 3 or 4 days in this heat and long hours.
This was the hardest announcement he'd ever had to make.
Ms. Hank, with regards to the homicide by child abuse, it carries 20 years to life if convicted. Based on the severity of the charge, and the penalty that it carries, I do not have the authority to set bond. You will have to go before a circuit court judge. The circuit court judge will basically do what I'm doing, but will have the authority to set a bond on you. Sometime within 30 days, you will have that opportunity to go before the circuit court judge. With regards to the filing false police report of the felony violation, that bond would have been set for $5,000, but because it's connected to the homicide charge, I'm going to deny bond. So these two are going to be connected together, and a circuit court judge will hear that. So as of this morning, there is no bond that is set for you. All right. Thank you very much. You would just sign the initial where it's highlighted in yellow. You've been charged with homicide by child abuse, which carries a prison sentence, if convicted, of 20 years to life. You understand that? Yes. You have the right to a jury trial. You also have the right and obligation to attend all court proceedings. You have the right to represent yourself and get your own attorney. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, the court may appoint an attorney to represent you. We will start that qualification process today, but it's up to you to follow up. Your case is going to be heard in the General Sessions Court. So after today's preliminary application, you will be given an opportunity to meet with the Public Defender's Office to confirm if that's the direction you want to go. Court dates, times, and locations of all future court dates and proceedings will be included in the paperwork that I gave you today. Charges that will be heard in General Sessions Court, you also have a right to a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing does not determine if you're guilty or not guilty. It simply confirms that there's probable cause sufficient to move forward to trial with the charges that you face. Understanding all this and the charges and the penalties that you face, do you want to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney, or do you plan on contesting these charges by retaining your own legal counsel?
I don't have an attorney ability yet, but I just don't know. Can you repeat the question?
Let's just see if you qualify. So a court-appointed attorney. Are you employed anywhere?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
DHL Bridgestone.
Say that again for me.
DHL Bridgestone.
And do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? Weekly. And what do you, on average, bring home every week?
It was my first check. I haven't seen it yet.
So you don't know.
Yes, sir.
All right, besides you, how many of us live in the household with you?
Just me, my girlfriend, and my child.
Okay, does she contribute to the financial status of the house as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also have a first initial court appearance date set up for September 18th of this year at 9 a.m. in the main courtroom at the Aiken County Judicial Center, 109 Park Avenue Southeast in Aiken. So once again, we'll try to keep up with all these numbers and dates in your head. It'll be a part of the paperwork out in just a few minutes. Remember that you also have a right to request a preliminary hearing, and the paperwork included as well. You've got 10 days to submit that paperwork, and that 10 days starts today. Now, with regards to the charge, bond, you're here to have a bond set, but this court does not have the authority or the jurisdiction to set a bond for a sentence of a crime that could get you life in prison. So today's bond is being denied, and it's also being transferred to the circuit court, where a circuit court judge will hear this case within the next 30 days, and the circuit court judge will set the bond for the charge. But for now, there is no bond. All right? And I do not qualify you at this point for a court-appointed attorney. So it would be my advice to you to seek legal counsel to represent you as you move forward. And best of luck to you. We're adjourned.
For the legal services, we are asking that he complies with ESS requirements.
Yes. Thank you, Victim Services. I appreciate that. You comply with DSS's requirements. All right. That's a condition of the bond. Yes. All right. Very good. Thank you.
After court, cameras caught something outside the family's old house. A small memorial that hadn't been there the day before. Flowers, stuffed animals, and sitting right in the middle of it, a Minnie Mouse plush. The same character Javea was described as wearing on her pajamas the night she was reported missing. That detail on that stuffed animal hits different once you know everything that came before it. A community showed up for a little girl they never even got the chance to actually search for. Because by the time anybody outside that house knew her name, she had already been gone a month. At the end of the day, this case isn't really about a missing child. It never was. It's about the story that got built around one, and how long that story held before the truth caught up to it. We told you the facts. What you take from them is on you. Rest easy, Javea.